Hi, I have in front of me here an AHD or an analog high definition 720p 1.3 megapixel dome camera. The settings on this is it gives you 15-meter IR and it has a fixed lens of 3.6 millimeter. Now, one of the cool features that come with this particular camera is that, and indeed across our range of AHD cameras, is that you can use a toggle here to switch it from AHD back to standard setting on it, and it means that it makes it backward compatible with lower spec DVRs. So that is really cool because it means that it can be retrofitted to an existing system, or it can be used with a new AHD DVR, which of course is the preferable way of doing it. AHD is a huge step forward from what went before. We've seen the evolution over the last few years from like 400 to 5, 6, 7, 800 TBL, then into pseudo HD of the 960H. But AHD is offering full HD, and it's equivalent in quality that it can offer to, we'll say, something like IP, with an awful lot less knowledge needed in terms of networking setup, etc. So it really makes it a great leap forward in terms of the cabling, the connectors, everything like that. It's exactly as it has been before, and we'll see that later in the second. In the video. So the format of the video is going to be, I'm going to cover exactly what comes in the outer box. We'll have a detailed look at the camera itself, and then we're going to actually come along and we're going to look at the camera in action, and you can see it here in its full 720p setting here on the screen. So what we have here is just the outer box. We have a user manual that comes in English, and we just have a list of what should come in the pack here. So basically you have a 2.1 millimeter power input here, which you're obviously using with, say, a Cat5 or RG59 with a power cable. You'd use the power cable to power the camera. We have 4 plugs and 4 screws, which we'd use for mounting the camera. We have an Allen key, and we have some grub screws as well, which we can use for locking this into position. If we come along and look at the camera itself, then we'll see in the inputs here it's identical to our existing cameras from the analog range. So what we have here is we just have the power input here, and I'll just demonstrate it here with a 2.1 millimeter, and also we have the B&C connection here. We have a toggle here as well, which allows us to bring up a menu, so we can change settings on it. We'll demonstrate that later in the video as well. We have a left and right setting, and also what we have is the ability to change it up and down to between the standard and the high definition. If we look at the camera itself here, we have the lens 3.6 millimeter, but we also have offset the actual IR, and the big advantage of that is that IR, as anybody who's ever installed them will know, attracts at night time. You know, spiders, other things like that are drawn to the light and building webs, etc. So the big advantage of this is that if this does happen, which is conceivable, it won't actually block the lens. Okay, so to that extent, it's very impressive. If we just look at the base here, we'll see we can unscrew the base, and it just allows us both for the mounting but also to adjust the angle. We can adjust it where we want, lock it back in, and if we wanted to make it truly vandal resistant, we put in the grubber screws there, and it means that if somebody came up, they just can't move the lens itself. What I'm going to do at this point is I'm just going to lean over here, and just off-site we have a camera mounted on the thing, so we can just see it's right next to me here. Hope you see my hand. And what I'm going to do is I'm just going to grab that toggle I was showing a few minutes ago. We're just going to push it to the left, and I'm going to flick it over to PAL. So just see here, I press up to the standard definition, so you can see the picture resolution has dropped off, and I can just push to the right, and it'll come back up now as 720p. Okay, so it's very, very impressive from that extent. If I wanted to bring the menu up, I just press down on the button here, and I can work my way down through the menu, and if I got to a menu option I was interested in, I can just change it there, change it back, come down along, and I could select in here, and I could just you can just come along and you can work through the various options then. So I can just exit out here at the end. Okay, so overall we'll say it's very, very impressive in terms of the settings on it, as it is with all the AHD cameras. What I'm going to do now is we're just going to give a quick demonstration on the IR settings on it. So what we're going to do is we'll just turn off the 2 lights in our video room, and just see how quickly it can adjust. And you can see, okay, the camera is very, very close to the setting here. We just need this for the restrictions of our video room here, but you can just see the overall picture resolution and quickly adjusts. Very, very impressive. In terms of the typical applications of that, well, you'll normally be using it with an AHD DVR if you want to get the full HD settings on it. And you'd be using something like this for the side of a house or to cover a door or something like that, because you have the high resolution thing. It's suitable for indoor or outdoor use. Generally something like this would be used outdoors, but it could of course be used indoors as well. In terms of, let's say, the success of AHD and things like that, the real competitor in the sort of this range is IP. But in terms of technical skills that people need to go to IP is much trickier, much harder to set up than this, but much more importantly, if something goes wrong in terms of a camera goes offline, with AHD, it's just a matter of checking the cable, bringing it back on. It's pretty logical steps, but if people have trouble with IP cameras, things like that, it really does take a lot of expertise to troubleshoot and things like that. And I think this is why it'll suit people, both people who have existing DVR systems, camera systems, and want to upgrade them. It suits them, but also for people who are doing professional installation, putting in new systems, things like that. The fact that you can mix AHD, so an AHD DVR, a number of these high resolution cameras, and then you can have a mix of 960H and maybe 700 TVL cameras covering areas that are less critical, and it just means you can keep the costs down and you can mix and match technology. And changing a camera afterwards is simply a matter of changing the camera. The power, the cabling, everything else will be identical. So that's it anyway, an overview of the AHD 15 meter dome camera.